This is Top Accolade Global News Updates. I am Soibifa Jackridge. A top Hamas leader said on Monday the group has what it needs to free all Palestinians in Israel jails, indicating the militant group may try to use the Israelis it kidnapped as bargaining chips to secure the release of Palestinian prisoners. Soon after, Hamas official Khaled Mishal made the remarks on the captives, who includes Israelis and non-Israelis kidnapped by Hamas on October 7th. The group armed wing separately said the non-Israelis were guests who would be released when circumstances allow. Gunmen from Hamas took scores of hostages after rampaging through southern Israeli communities and military bases, killing over 1,300 people. Israel's military says the group is holding 199 hostages in Gaza. Hamas says it has between 250. Hamas, which like other factions, has long called for the release of roughly 6,000 Palestinians in Israeli prison, has what it needs to empty the prisons of all prisoners. Mishal, a former Hamas chief who now heads Israel's prayer office in Doha. In 2011, Israel swapped hundreds of Palestinians prisoners to win the release of one Israeli soldier, Gilad Shalit, who was held for 5 years. That kind of exchange, which at the time was criticized by some Israelis as too loop-sided, looks an impossible bargain with dozens of people being held. Israel, which has bombarded Gaza with strikes that have killed hundreds of Palestinians, has said it would act to free the hostages while eliminating Hamas. The captives are believed to include nationals of countries including Thailand and Germany. Other countries have reported their citizens as missing. Israelis with dual nationality in countries including the US are also believed to have been kidnapped. Chinese civil servants and employees of state-linked enterprises are facing tighter constraints on private travel abroad and scrutiny of their foreign connections, according to official notice, and more than a dozen people familiar with the matter as bending wages to campaign against foreign influence. 10 current and former employees said the curbs had been widened since 2021 to include bans on overseas travel, tighter limits on trips, frequency and duration, onerous approval processes, and pre-departure confidentiality training. They said the measures were unrelated to COVID-19. The individual's accounts varied from were consistent in describing heightened scrutiny of overseas travel even after China reopened borders in January. The people who worked across the country as civil servants in state-owned enterprises or the public sector more broadly spoke on the conditions of anonymity because of the issue's sensitivity. 8 public announcements over the past 2 years by Egypt's government entities, including the National Pension Fund, that indicated they were strengthening rules around workers' personal trips outside China without detailing all the changes. Other individual accounts and documentation reviewed shows a parallel efforts by central and local Chinese authorities to map government and state-linked workers' personal and family ties to other countries. The action reflects President Xi Jinping's focus on national security amid fraught relations with the West. China in recent months has encouraged citizens to participate in anti-espionage activity and introduced a new law that broadened the definition of spying. Cryptocurrency issuer Delta has frozen 32 crypto wallet addresses containing a combined $873,118 it said were linked to terrorism and warfare in Israel and Ukraine. The company said on Monday. Israeli police said last week they had frozen crypto accounts used to solicit donations for Hamas on social media. Hamas on October 7th attacked on Israel killed 1,300 people. Delta's first Israel-related freeze was on March 16th, 2023, while the first Ukrainian-related freeze was on June 16th, 2021. TRM Labs, a major U.S. blockchain analysis company that works with law enforcement agencies, said in a blog in February that Tether was a currency of choice for terrorist financing. Tether said it is committed to working closely with law enforcement agencies globally to combat cryptocurrency-funded terrorism and warfare. Tether, whose stablecoin is the third largest cryptocurrency by circulation, said it was working with Israel's National Bureau for Counter-Terror Financing (NBCTF) to counter cryptocurrency-funded terrorism and warfare. Delta spokesperson declined to give any details about this work. A stablecoin is a type of currency usually underpinned by assets such as dollars to hold steady value. Microsoft's MSFT.O, LinkedIn said on Monday it would lay off 668 employees across its sector in the face of an uncertain economic outlook. Engineering, talent, and finance teams in the second round of job cuts this year for the social media network for professionals amid slowing revenue growth. The cuts, which affect more than 3% of the 2,000-strong staff, add to the tens of thousands of job losses this year in the technology sector in the face of an uncertain economic outlook. While we are adapting our organization structures and streamlining our decision-making, we are continuing to invest in strategic priorities for our future and to ensure we continue to deliver value for our members and customers. LinkedIn said in a blog on Monday, the tech sector has laid off 141,516 employees in the first half of the year, compared with about 6,000 a year ago. According to employment firm Challenger, Gray and Christmas, in the fourth quarter of its fiscal 2023 year, LinkedIn's revenue increased 5% year-on-year compared to 10% in the previous quarter. Microsoft has cited a slowdown in hiring along with a decline in advertising spending as headwinds for LinkedIn, although it continues to add new members to its communities of 950 million. LinkedIn in May decided to cut 716 jobs across sales, operations, and support teams to streamline its operations and remove layers to help make quicker decisions. A federal judge on Monday barred Donald Trump from verbally attacking U.S. prosecutors, court staff, and potential witnesses involved in a criminal case that accuses him of trying to overturn his 2020 election loss. U.S. District Judge Tanya Kotkanian in Washington, pointing to disparaging social media posts, said she would not allow the former U.S. president, who has pleaded not guilty, to launch a pretrial smear campaign against the people involved in the case. No other criminal defendant would be allowed to do so. I am not going to allow it in his case, Chiktan said as she issued the order. Speaking at a campaign rally in Iowa on Monday, Trump called the judge's order unconstitutional and vowed to appeal it. I will be the only politician in history that runs with a gag order where I am not allowed to criticize people, Trump told supporters. The order bars Trump, frontrunner for the 2024 Republican presidential nomination, and attorneys in the case from personally targeting social counsel Jack Smith, prosecutors working with him, and court staff. It also prevents Trump from discussing potential witnesses as relates to their testimony at trial. Trump's trial is due to begin in 5 months. He is charged with conspiring to interfere in the counting of votes and block the certification of 2020 election, which he lost to Democrat Joe Biden. The ruling followed a 2-hour hearing where the judge grilled a Trump lawyer about recent social media posts in which Trump referred to Smith as a thug and the city of Washington as a filthy crime reading embarrassment, and suggested former top U.S. General Mark Milley committed an offense that would have once warranted death. That is the size of top accolade global news updates. You can follow us on all social media platforms as displayed on your screen. Happy Tuesday.